Last time we talked about self-deception, how we can see others as objects or people. We can start out with the same behavior, but when we are out of the box, we view others as people. And when we are in the box, we see others as objects. It's true that we all have been in the box, and probably always will be to some extent, but our success comes because of the times and ways when we have been out of the box. This isn't about perfection, it's about getting better. Bud woke up to the sound of his baby crying. It was in the middle of the night. Bud had an impression, a sense or feeling that he should get up and tend to the baby so that his wife, Nancy, could sleep. Bud didn't act on that feeling. He didn't get up. This is self-betrayal, to go against what you feel you should do for someone else. Bud had a sense, to help with the baby. He had a choice, to honor it or betray it. Bud betrayed himself and began to see the world differently. As he laid there listening to the baby cry, Bud began to see his wife as lazy and inconsiderate. She was probably faking being asleep and was being a lousy mom and a lousy wife. Bud also saw himself differently. Bud was a victim. He worked hard and deserved sleep. His sleep was important. He had actually woken up to the crying, which made him sensitive. He was a good dad. He was a good husband. Why was Bud seeing the world differently after he had self-betrayal? To justify his actions. Let's just pretend that Nancy was lazy. Bud had felt like helping her even though she was lazy, and didn't see her faults as reasons not to help her until after he betrayed himself and needed justification. Was Bud actually as good as he was claiming to be? In that moment, was he being a good dad and husband? He saw the world in a way that justified his failure. His thoughts became distorted systematically in his favor. When he betrayed himself, he became self-deceived, and that's how he entered the box. He could now blame others. What if you don't have a feeling that you've betrayed? How do you get in the box then? Well, we can also carry boxes with us. Over time, certain of these self-justifying thoughts become part of who we are, and we carry these boxes into new situations. For example, if you have a box that says you know everything, you will not end up learning new things. Bud was carrying the box that said he was a good husband when Mother's Day came around. At the end of the day, Nancy said to him, "I don't think you thought about me much today." Bud felt defensive. He was a good husband, so it must be her fault, and blamed her. She was ungrateful, and he didn't seriously consider her complaint. He didn't have to have a feeling that he betrayed in order to get into the box, because he was already in the box. Right now, perhaps you are thinking about someone who's in the box. I know I am. Are you angry at that person for being in the box? In your anger at them being in the box, you are in the box yourself. You are being angry at them for being like you. Their actions do not excuse yours. And your box can have an impact on others. When you blame others, they want to blame you back. You're inviting them to get into the box. Kate had a teenage son, Brian, that always came home late. This is how Kate saw Brian. He was irresponsible, a troublemaker, and disrespectful. So this is what Kate did. She disciplined harshly, she criticized him, and hovered over him. Because she was treating him as a problem or object, Brian felt this, and this is how he saw his mom. That she was dictatorial, unloving, and nosy. So this is what Brian did. He got home late. Which, of course, triggered the negative ways Kate was seeing him, and the vicious cycle keeps on going. If you asked Kate what she wanted most, she would say it was for Brian to be responsible. But in fact, it looks like she invites more of what she says she doesn't want. The box doesn't just make people ineffective, it makes them destructive. One night, Brian wanted to use the car. Kate said yes, if he came home at 10 p.m. All evening, Kate was fuming about how irresponsible Brian was and how mad at him she was. Then she heard him enter the driveway. It was a minute before 10. In that moment, Kate actually felt a stab of disappointment. When he walked in, Kate said, "You sure cut it close, didn't you?" Even when he was responsible, she didn't let him be responsible. She still needed him to be wrong. When you're in the box, there's something that you need even more than what you think you want: to feel justified. Kate needed Brian to be blameworthy. Kate and Brian provided each other with such perfect justification that they were colluding with each other. Collusion is when you blame your behavior on someone and they blame their behavior on you. You provoke in others the very behavior you say that you hate in them, and they provoke in you the very behavior they say that they hate in you. And the more people we can get to agree with our side of the story, the more justified we feel. We've all done this. You're mad at someone who you believe is a jerk. Maybe it's your mother-in-law, a coworker, or a politician. You go onto an online chat, ranting, "She is a jerk!" And since everyone is just hearing your point of view, they agree with you and reaffirm to you that indeed, that person is a jerk. "Ah, total creep. You teach them, girl. She sucks." See? Everyone else agrees with me. Now you feel justified in your anger and actions towards that person. You don't have to worry about thinking about her as a person because she doesn't deserve it. And now, what do you think she will want to write on her chat groups? When I am surrounded by sick people, chances are that I will get sick myself. Self-betrayal is the germ that creates the disease of self-deception. Organizations and families die because they don't know they're carrying the germ. This is part 2 of a 3-part summary of the book Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. Don't forget to click the subscribe button.